Knives Monroe.
Thanks. What's the purpose of your call?
We finna do a podcast.
Thanks.
Hello?
Hi, is David Cook there?
Hey. Yes, this is me.
Can David
Hey,
Cook
man.
come out to play?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm on I have an app that like blocks spam calls, and I don't know if it must be registering you on, and it's like no caller ID, so it probably thinks that you're some bot, but
It's okay. That's the story of my life.
It's all good. Is it going? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good, man. That's the story of my
Okay.
life, though.
What? The
Being put
What,
in the spam folder, so to speak.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, dude, were you like, is this metaphorical, or are you just saying literally?
Both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I know how you feel. A lot of people are feeling that way. But how are you doing, man? It's been a while since we last talked.
It's been a while, yeah.
Oh.
Almost a whole month. But I've been keeping up on your TikTok, so I feel like I'm seeing you.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, life seems to be going pretty well for you.
Yeah, I'm having fun and still sticking with it, man. I remember that. It was really important the first time I ever talked with you about that, and you got to get on TikTok, and it's not taking off, and I don't expect it to, because there's so many different platforms that I'm on, but it's a big goal that I want to stick with. So thanks for sticking with me and listening to it.
Well, of course.
I mean, watching it, not listening.
Everything takes time, Everything takes time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you know who your audience is?
No, and you know what? I don't think I have one for TikTok. I think it's whoever is kind of, because I think it's kind of like a hit or miss. I don't know if it's about if I got to do like dancing, because a lot of people are doing this, like their channel takes off when they do like a famous dance that goes viral or something. You know all about it, right?
A little
bit.
That's
what a lot of TikTok is like people doing these dances from like rappers or whatever the case may be. Something will go viral and then people do it. Like there's this one recent one that's really taken off. It's like people dancing like up the stairs, or like doing like a Michael Jackson moonwalk, and like it's a huge viral trend. So I'm trying to figure out like where I fit in all this, because I don't think the style that I am doing is what TikTok is mainly about. So I think that's why I'm kind of being put in the oddball categories. But I'm trying to do hashtags and all that, like for you, and I heard that gets it out there a little bit more, but I don't know. Whatever the case is, I still like to have fun with it, like the way I do. Like I'm just kind of at odds with it, because everyone is doing the same. Like people are going famous by copying off of other people, and it's not how I grew up with film and even YouTube. Like the early days of YouTube, it was like when something went viral, it was because someone did something that was very unique to anything else. But now it's like people are going viral for copying off of others. Now I'm repeating myself, but do you feel that way too?
Gee, I don't know. TikTok is its own thing for sure.
Yeah.
I started off like copying, or paying homage, or they say it's like the sincerest
I call it
form.
copying, but am I saying it wrong?
No, I don't think
I
so.
mean, you have a different like view on it, but that's how I see it. Like everyone should just give credit to that one person who thought of it first, who thought of that dance first, But
yeah,
I guess I'm just I have different thoughts on it.
How would you feel if you made a piece of content that people then quote unquote copied and it took off?
Well, when you put it that way, I would love it. I would love to see other people happy like that,
how would you feel if somebody resented you for that, for it taking off?
Oh, like look at this hot shot, like 35 million views or something.
Or something,
like,
yeah.
out of
Like,
nowhere.
I mean,
and someone with like jealousy, are you talking?
or sort of like
if someone was jealous?
bitterness. Like, how would you react to, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people? Say you make a meme like, look at all those chickens, right? And then it takes off and it becomes part of the lexicon. Do you feel like, people shouldn't be copying you and making those things go viral?
Yeah, that's just to me, it's a fine line. But if it's something like goofing around, like if I made like a short film and people started like trying to recreate that movie, but like I guess I don't know, man. You're hitting me with some hard things right now.
Well, it's like,
just like
earlier. I look at it like music. If you make a really cool song and people cover it, that's kind of interesting, right? Like that doesn't turn me off necessarily.
No.
Yeah.
No. Maybe I am just a little bitter. I think you're a little right about that. I am just a little. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I just don't get some of the things that people do. Like I'm on this a lot of the time. I'm like, I'm doing research. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out the perfect formula. But like, it seems like the perfect formula is 15-year-olds with their shirts off doing like sexual dances to viral videos, and it's like that's what's really taken off. I'm like, I don't know what that. You know what I mean? Maybe for my age, but I mean, I'm not scared to take my shirt off or nothing. But I just see like all this. I'm like, should I really be watching like 15-year-old girls doing sexual dances on this thing? Like, I just feel awkward about it a lot of the times.
Of course, yeah.
But maybe I just need to update my feed to see what because that's what I get a lot of. I'm like, I want to see some funny stuff, and like all the For You stuff is popping up as like teens dancing. I'm like, what? Who thought that that's part of the algorithm that I need? I don't know.
Yeah, I have a theory
someone's making it up.
I have a theory that the 15-year-olds dancing or whatever, I think that's very primal, and since it's a lot of 15-year-olds that are on the app, I think since it gets a lot of engagement with them, the algorithm pushes it to you and says, hey, maybe you'd like this too, right? But then it's really up to you to curate your TikTok. Like, I don't follow anybody, so I only have the For You page, and I've just started liking the stuff that I like, like photography things, videography things, stuff in my sort of genre. And I've been making content that's a little bit about that, and that's all I get. Yeah. And I think in my algorithm, I rarely see 15-year-olds dancing. I haven't seen 15-year-olds dancing in months, so maybe So
I just need to because I don't like every video that I see, but I do see a lot of I'll get a lot of unique stuff now because I'm starting to like stuff that's out of that category. I'm not getting as much of the mainstream pop stuff, but yeah, I guess it just comes with time. But I haven't really been on it. I just kind of am been sticking with the goal of uploading once a day. But I feel like the more I want to stick with it, the more I think am I sacrificing my true creative juices for? It's almost like I'm treating this as a chore, and a lot of days it feels like that, because you can't make gold every day. And I'm not saying that everything that I do is gold, but I'm a perfectionist in the way that when I first started this, I was always even if it was some random stuff, I would splice it and edit it on my computer. Now everything you can do this on your phone. So I feel like it loses, I don't know, the magic of what I originally intended to do on TikTok. But now I'm thinking to myself, oh, geez, should I do this one dance that millions of other people are doing? And is that what is going to make me happy? And I don't think it is. So I'm just really trying to figure this TikTok thing out.
Yeah, it's going to take some time.
Man.
It's going to take some time. I don't think I have it figured out. I don't have anything figured out, like, at all, you know? But one thing's for sure is, like, I made a conscious decision a few years ago to just make the stuff that I want to make, that I like seeing. And I use Final Cut Pro to edit my TikToks. I use a green screen. Like, I go a little too all out, you know, because that's just the content that I want people to see when they get the first impression of me. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being a little too precious and taking extra time to put thought into something. If you don't feel like you're maximizing your creativity, then you should do that. If that means a banger of a TikTok once a week instead of every day, then take those extra days and, you know, and do that for sure. But I however, as a fan, like to see you every day, you know, and I think they're funny because I'd see them on Snapchat and I'm like, you should put this in an audience that can discover you. Because Snapchat, I mean, people can't organically find you, I don't think, right? So,
well, unless I make it, I don't make mine public. You can make your Snapchat public, but I don't. I just like who likes me. Like, if you really want to find me, you'll find me, you know?
Yeah.
But it's weird. I was trying to think of what was I going to say? Never mind. It's gone. So...
how's quarantine life, man? How's quarantine life for you?
Quarantine life? I'm actually going back to work pretty soon. I work at a high school and doing maintenance, so they're kind of, you know, they're having the teachers come in like one at a time and get their stuff, and the students, and then once that's all over, then we come in and do another deep cleaning. So I'm kind of glad to get back on that because I feel like I've gotten into some bad habits, and I know, like most people, it's food. My diet I've been choosing a lot of frozen foods and not doing as much produce because of the, you know, how it's just exposed a lot more than things that are in bags.
Right.
So it's like, just trying to stay on a good diet has been the biggest struggle, and I'm sure, like most people, drinking too. I've been drinking like every day, and I never do that during the week when I work. So it's going to help, I think, going back to work and being on that schedule. So because it's not like I'm working in a factory with dozens of other people, you know, doing the night shift with like a couple other people. So my chances of coming in contact are very slim, and I'm very blessed too because during my time off they haven't, you know, I kept all my benefits and everything. So
that's great.
I'm very lucky. Yeah, I'm very blessed.
Man,
so how are you doing? How's everything going on your end?
Sounds like you're one of the lucky ones. Things are okay. I kind of feel the same as you. I feel personally like I've been quarantined since November because stuff with my work, the travel went down after the second week of November, and so I didn't travel anywhere December or January, and I only went out once in February, which was to Florida, which was fun, but it was actually really fun, and I missed that. So I've been going crazy for a long time, but I've been trying to look at the positives. The positives are I get to hang out with my family, and I think when it's all said and done and we look back, this might be a time that we could appreciate because we really got to know each other even better. I feel very lucky to really be in my kids' lives. Like I'm there and I'm present with them, and I never ever had that. I didn't even know that was possible. It would have been greedy to ask for that as a kid. So I'm trying to look at the positives, but I've also exacerbated a lot of bad habits as well. Pretty terrible about certain vices. I've kind of just submitted to it. I'm like, my gym is closed, and I can come up with all these excuses, but they're just reasons to trigger myself, reasons to enable myself, It's difficult, but I'm also sick and tired of beating myself up about it, to be honest.
Yeah, man. It's the worst, getting in your head when you really talk yourself into some stupid shit,
Yeah.
You can get in that mode. Is there moments sometimes, I know you got your kids and stuff, but to break that, to break your your cycle of thinking. Sometimes you get deep in your thoughts, right?
The past couple of months, I've just let myself go. I mean, for sure. I just let it
In
all
what
melt
way?
off in every way. Like, in every fucking way. Let me see if I can pull something up. Okay. I'm gonna pull it up just to see if you can hear this.
Is it like a video?
Yeah. But I'm trying. I just want to find one clip. This kind of says it pretty well. See if I can pull it up.
And look at the title belt right here. Something Crystalia will never have, dude. Crystalia has a trying to.
I don't care about this.
He ain't gonna come.
Nope, it's not gonna come out.
Here's the secret to winning.
It's not gonna come out. There's this TikTok,
Oh,
as a
what
matter of fact.
I heard. Here's the secret to winning.
No, that was just like an ad. But here's a
Oh.
TikTok that I saw where this comedian says, "Yeah, last night I had like 3 ice cream sandwiches," and the podcast host is like, "What? Why'd you do that?" And he said, "Wanted to. I just fucking felt like it." And that's the way I felt, like it, whatever I've just wanted to do, I just do it, and it's bad. And I'm not a bad example around my kids, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like, just don't give a fuck about a lot of things that I just would beat myself up about, and I would really, really hurt myself over, and now I'm just like, fucking whatever, man. And I've been really busy with work, so I'm putting in like 50, 60-hour work weeks, and with the time that I have off, I'm so burnt out. Like, I don't care about anything. Like, I'm just like, I just want to lie down on my couch and fucking take a nap at 7 p.m. Like, I'm fucking out, And when I wake up, I'm gonna have a bowl of cereal. It's like, what is that? I haven't done that since I was like in 7th grade,
Yeah.
And I don't care either, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it.
No, yeah.
I'll feel
when you're
bad,
working
and I'll
60
fix
hours,
it.
man. You're just so drained. Yeah, you're not gonna think like, oh, I'm gonna make myself some couscous, quinoa salad, all these healthy. You just go into whatever's right there, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
like I had tacos.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't want to make a whole casserole and something that's gonna take you a couple hours. I get you, man. So. What else has been going on? I mean, are you doing any like thing with nature? Like, how is Texas
no nature
treating all this?
I don't know. Like, I don't have any friends over here, so I don't know what they're doing. I don't have family over here either, so I don't know. Yeah. My family is like 5 hours south of me. I don't know how they're doing. Like, I don't know. I assume they're okay. If they're in the apocalypse, I'm sure they'd let me know. If not, well, then I guess it ain't that bad. I know it's kind of like a big fuck it attitude, but like it's because I'm so, I don't want to be like, I'm so bipolar, but I'm so extreme. Like, it's either I deeply care and I'm very sensitive and everything will affect me and everything's a catastrophe to me, or I just can't, I have to disconnect and not give a fuck, and I'll go all out when this shit is over, whenever that is. I want to go back on the road. I want to go back to a routine where I used to walk to the gym. It was great. It was a 5-hour walk, full circle, and it was cool. And I get a lot of thinking done and daydreaming done, and I'm the type of person that needs to daydream, and it was cool. But now I'm just not gonna. I can't really snap my fingers and fix the world, So I just really have to just keep. I look at it like a football game, like. Every day, I might not win the game, but I'll be happy with the first down. That's just the truth.
Yeah. And there's enough going on. And especially for you working 50 and 60 hours, man, know?
Yeah, it's been intense. It's been intense.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying, it's been intense because, with my job, it's in the digital multimedia virtual space, so I have more than I can handle, which is cool. There's a lot of people that lost their jobs. Like 20% of Americans have lost their jobs in the past 8 weeks, and it's just terrible. So I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not trying to bitch, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're definitely right. It could be way worse, and why stress yourself out even more with things you can't control,
Yeah.
So I totally get it, man. And it's probably best for your sanity. I can't even imagine. There's some people who worry about everything, and that is probably killing them more than any sickness right now
Yeah.
that you can get germ-wise, The stress is silent killer, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me it was.
So,
For me it was for sure, but I'm happy to let that stuff go, and I'll figure it out when the world comes back. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing anything like different? Is there like less technology going on in the house? Are you trying to get your kids to like play old games?
I think it's even more technology.
Like, are you doing anything from your childhood?
No, it's even more technology now. My son had here's the thing. It's technically there's still 1 month of school, and the teachers just make us homeschool the kids, which once again, working 60 hours a week, I just jam pack all my 5-year-old's schoolwork on a Sunday. It's terrible. I'm a bad dad or whatever, but it's just what it is. And so it's really asinine work too. And it's kindergartner work, but and my son, he works on stuff every day, and then he just fucks off and plays Grand Theft Auto. And that's what he wants to do. He can't hang out with his friends, and so I feel bad.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is.
Oh, they're all getting together on the game platforms.
I hope so.
There's a lot going on there.
I have no idea.
I'm trying to do, I'm going back to the old school. I got my Nintendo 64. I broke it out last week. I'm playing Banjo-Kazooie, and Nicole, my girlfriend, she brought over her Wii, and we're doing like Wii Sports and just extra fun stuff. Wario's Playland or whatever. She's on right now. It's like an old school Mario style game, like 2D, but
that's fun.
we're keeping it, spiced up a bit.
That's good.
So,
that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun, man. I wish I had that. I've never been, like, I was going to tweet this, like, except who gives a shit? I've never played Final Fantasy. I've never played Halo. I've never played Call of Duty. Like, there's these games that are just out there, or Grand Theft Auto for that matter. I've never played those games, I can recall being 12 years old and just and I remember just feeling like, oh, I don't care about games anymore. I don't want games. Like, I remember just thinking that, like, at a very young age, like, well, everybody was into the next Resident Evil or the next Legend of Zelda, and I was just like, I feel nothing.
Yeah.
I'm so boring.
No, well, you were doing some crazy stuff. Apparently, you're messing around with Ouija boards and going out and
that's funny.
Wrestling with your friends like that. That's, like, to me, more valuable in the long run.
Who knows?
Those relationships rather than just being connected to a video game.
I think it's cool that people play video games. Like, I think there's a community there and a culture there, and they make so much money. So I think it's a very interesting business that's not going anywhere. And I like the ideas of people who play competitively. Like, that's interesting to me, I've just never been a part of that. And as far as the memories things, as creating memories as a kid, maybe you're right. But there's a lot of concussions in that too. Probably, I don't know how worth it that was, but a lot of bad decisions, when you're younger. But who knows? Maybe video games would have kept me out of trouble. I don't know. I try not to be that dad that's like, video games are gonna rot your brain. Like, there's nothing good about them, when, like, there's these kids that make millions of dollars playing games. Like, I can't say that with a straight face.
Yeah, when your 8-year-old son is the breadwinner of the house because he's just crushing it at tournaments.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. These kids are earning millions of dollars, man. It's like, oh, if you're ever going to be bitter about some, you could be bitter about that, man, because who would have thought 20 years ago that was going to be the big thing?
Not me, but I do think it's
money,
cool.
Earning a living off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. If I could do it, I would.
Yeah.
But I can't, so I don't.
That's a whole nother level of commitment, man. It's almost like these gamers are getting signed like football players in the NFL and shit. Like, it's crazy. And they have to, like, try out. They actually have video game tryouts and stuff for teams. It's crazy.
I think that's cool.
We didn't do WrestleMania. We didn't recap that.
Oh, yeah.
After, man, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Remember much of WrestleMania? Dave Cook. But do you remember it? I was completely sober when I watched it, but do you have any memory of it? I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, it was. There was two matches that stuck out, and that first one, of course, the Boneyard match, Undertaker versus AJ Styles, and they fought in like what looked like to me somebody's farm out in like Orlando, and they were wrestling up on the rooftops. Anderson and Gallows got involved, but like that was the highlight of both of those shows on both nights for me. And then the second one I was really looking forward to was the Firefly Funhouse match, and that was like, unless you're on acid or something, I just didn't. I know it was paying homage to the past Cena. It was like Cena versus the Fiend apparently, but it wasn't. It wasn't really a match. They claimed it as a match, but did you see it? The Funhouse match?
I did. I wouldn't call it a match either, personally.
Yeah, it was like a homage to Cena, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This isn't even wrestling. And you know, the Boneyard match was about as crazy and out of the realm as I would like to get, but at least they kept it classic, you know, like the old school Buried Alive matches with Austin and Undertaker. Do you remember those?
Yeah, of course.
So, but obviously you can't say that now. Buried Alive match, PG rated, I guess, but those two were the best. And then I just feel sorry, man, for Drew McIntyre, you know, for one guy to be pushed that hard, and now the virus happens, so he's kind of, I don't know if this will cement his legacy further, or it's just going to, you know, it's going to be one of those things we forget about, like, oh, you know, Drew McIntyre was champion, but yeah, during a unprecedented time. So what are your thoughts on that? I know you're not crazy about him, but
I don't dislike him.
what do you think?
I think he's fine. I'm not passionate about Drew McIntyre. I've never been. I don't know if I could ever be. I've never seen him more comfortable and more like in his element, and that's cool. I like the Boneyard match too. Like I remember the Boneyard match. It was like one of those instant classics where it was very memeable. It was very you could talk about it with people, and it was. I kind of feel like it reinvigorated and reinvented Taker's career in a way. Like he, you know, if he has matches like that, he can wrestle forever, you know, and that's cool. So I like that. Yeah.
I think that's how he should only wrestle from now on, you know, not going to Saudi Arabia when it's 94 degrees out and he can't even lift up Goldberg, you know. That was a bad one. But like I think WWE kind of out of this virus has struck gold, because now they're being forced to come up with different vignettes, and that's something they've had trouble with for a long time. Is kind of like what AEW is doing right now. They're like really into all that.
I love AEW.
But like WWE, do you know what's going on right now recently with WWE and Money in the Bank?
Not exactly. Is it Money in the Bank this Sunday or not?
I think so. I think it is, but it's not at the where WrestleMania was in their performance center. It's in like the WWE headquarters in like Connecticut, I think. I don't know exactly, but it's like a 6-story building, and the ring and the ladder is like at the top on the rooftop. And the match starts off. This is literally, I'm not lying about this. The match starts on the first floor, and they got to like work their way up to get to the top. So I think there's going to be some ridiculous stuff that happens, but I definitely am attracted to that. That sounds interesting. Way out of the box of what they would normally do, you know?
Yeah. I think that's okay to do that once. Hopefully it doesn't become a tradition or something, but
yeah, I hope it doesn't, like just a one and done thing just for that specific pay-per-view, not like not every pay-per-view we're going to wrestle in the building and
exactly
wrestle the top floor. Yeah,
that's weird.
So are you I know, man, they're going to I just hope they do creative stuff. Like they have like they shimmy down the building with the title, on a rope. I don't know, like a SWAT team where they're like rolling down the side of the building. I don't know. There's just so much room for creativity on that. And it would be a first time ever, too.
You say that you sound like an old man when it comes to TikTok. I feel like I sound like an old man when it comes to WWE. Like, I think there's way too many pay-per-views, and they're all gimmicked out, which is very lazy. And like, I don't want to say back in my day, but like a ladder match used to mean something. It doesn't. Like now it's just a ladder match because it's May. That's weird, And then 2 months later, they're going to do a Hell in the Cell. That doesn't mean anything anymore either. And so I wish there was fewer pay-per-views.
I wonder how they're going to do that.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
Like to do it just to do it, like that's dumb. Like I liked when a Hell in the Cell was like the way you finally settled your beef once and for all. Or a ladder match was like, look, we have all these crazy tag teams. We don't know what to do with them. We're going to put them all in one thing or something. But now that Money in the Bank is just like a tradition, like that's weird to me. It doesn't feel special. And so like the fact that they're even doing this right now, storyline wise, I'm sure doesn't make any sense. They're doing it because they have to. That takes a lot of creativity out, in my opinion. So I know I sound super old and super, I don't know. I don't know what, but
well, that's Vince McMahon. I feel like Vince McMahon's making those calls. You're right. I mean, I think there was one point where there was like 2 pay-per-views in a month.
That's too
when
many.
they did the brand split off, where they tried to do like, SmackDown and Raw was a separate entity or like separate wrestlers on each thing. But I think it has. You're right. It has ruined the very good nature of when you bring weapons into the ring. It should be a special thing. Now it's like, younger kids are probably like, oh, it's a ladder, big deal. Every match should have that. And yeah, I agree. I mean, when you look at the Shawn Michaels ladder match,
right,
and like Bret Hart, that meant something, man. That had like, in how many ladder matches were that year? Like say 1998, how many ladder matches do you think there was?
One, maybe 2.
Yeah,
one, but maybe
exactly.
one. Maybe. Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't know if you watch NXT, but now it's like now it's like, oh, in order to qualify to be in the women's championship match, they have a ladder match with like 7 other women. You're I don't know. It just doesn't. It kind of, to use a ladder match as a qualifying match doesn't. You're right. It takes away
like,
that
here's
importance of it.
Here's an even better example. Like Elimination Chamber is a pay-per-view that you do before WrestleMania. Like it doesn't make, and it's just there because it's there. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like I can't get into that. Like it would be cool if it was like, dude, did you know? Let's say I didn't watch wrestling anymore, and someone came up to me and was like, dude, did you know that at least this Sunday there's going to be a ladder match? I'm like, oh, okay, that's special. But just to have it just because, it's like that time of the month, like that's dumb. That's dumb. And I hate to be this guy. I hate to be this guy.
And it's forced too. It limits a lot of the writer's capability. Like if something is going, if there's a good character development happening, that all has to get squashed on that pay-per-view just because it's that pay-per-view. So it's got to, and they're also putting dream matches of like really good wrestlers together. And you're like, on a regular episode of Raw or SmackDown, you're like, no, that should be saved for the pay-per-view. And then they fight like 5 times before supposedly the real end. Like, remember Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns? It went on for like 5 months.
Oh,
their feud together, and you're just like, I've seen them fight so many times. Like, what is it really going to matter at Royal Rumble?
Right.
I think that's when they fought, right? Or in Royal Rumble.
I'll have to take your word for that. I don't know.
Something like
I will
that.
say, like, I don't know what it is about AEW, and I think the new / cool factor has kind of worn off, but and I'm saying that in a positive because what's kept me around is their long form storytelling. Are you caught up with AEW?
Yeah,
okay,
I watch it every week.
Me too. And so the tournament, which I love that they do tournaments, so that why I mean, that explains why these guys are fighting. It's important to know why people are fighting each other. Like, that's important. It's fundamental. And this TNT championship tournament that they're doing with Lance Archer and Cody was just so organic, you know, and it was built. It didn't just happen overnight. It took like 8 weeks or something, you know, to get here since their last pay-per-view, which you were at. And I'm invested, and I know what everybody's doing, and I know why they're there. And some wrestlers, their characters grow faster than others, but some there's a slow burn, and I enjoy watching that burn because I get to know them, I get to appreciate them, and when they win and lose, I care. I miss that in wrestling. It's just like good drama. It's like, I want? It's like a Game of Thrones or some show that eventually goes against what made it great. WWE did that a long time ago, and they continue to do that. And I feel really, really bad for them because they're choking, they're drowning right now, and I want to support them because it's like a legacy thing of just they have a lifetime credit for me where I'll always be a fan forever. But I need to care about these wrestlers. I need to care about the characters. I don't give a shit about, here's a great worker, Seth Rollins. I don't give a fuck about him. Like, I don't care what he does. I'm not invested. You know, I don't know. Who's another cool guy? Braun Strowman. He's cool, but I don't give a shit about him. He means nothing to me, you know? And Samoa Joe, he's one of my all-time favorites, and he's stuck at commentary for whatever reason. I just can't get into it, man. It's a big bummer.
I would love to know who's really pulling the strings and how much of this is Vince, but we'll never know exactly. But what do you think?
You know what I think?
What do you think the real problem is?
I believe,
an old man that's out of touch and he's making all the calls, or is it the staff that he's hiring?
I think it's 50-50. Everything's always 50-50.
Or the writers?
I think it's 50-50. I think, say I'm a wrestler. Like, give me a wrestler. Give me any wrestler.
AJ Styles.
Okay, AJ Styles. If I'm AJ Styles, I'm going to book myself in a feud, not one match, in a money-making feud that takes 90 days to blow off with Bobby Lashley. A guy that should, for all accounts, be a giant superstar. He's got everything. He's an Army vet, he's a collegiate whatever. He's built like a fucking tank. He's got a face.
UFC champion.
Oh, yeah. MMA. I mean, he's legit MMA champion, blah, 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 whatever. He's 3-2
the
or
list
whatever.
Goes on and on.
He's got everything. He's like a toy. He's Stretch Armstrong, And, I mean, he's just fucking wasted. What is he doing there? But him and AJ
sleeping with Rusev's wife. Or, they're married now. But, even that, it's just weird. They're stuck in that. He's stuck in a weird storyline. Why is Bobby Lashley being treated like Brock Lesnar? That's what you're saying,
well,
right?
I mean, I don't think we need another Brock Lesnar who just goes in and does 9 Germans and that's what we call a match. I'm not saying we need another that, but if I'm AJ Styles and I want to tell good stories, say AJ still has the itch to be creative. I don't know, because he's just seen so many wars, but I would book myself in a feud, a storyline feud that was compelling, a slow burn with Bobby Lashley. Like, I want to see new things, but I don't think wrestlers backstage take the initiative. I think they blame Vince McMahon, and I think they blame the writers for not being on TV or something. But where's the initiative? I think they need people to take the ball, and I don't think anybody's rising to that occasion, to be honest.
You mean like taking a chance and saying something different on the mic? Because I think they're a lot more constricted now. Like, they get way more reprimanded for saying things because of the PC culture we live in too, and the fact that, like, Stone Cold, it was perfect for him because he wasn't constricted to a PG rating show, and like people weren't on social media commenting things and being so negative, and it's just a different. You can't really compare this era with the good old days or whenever you remember wrestling to be classic and authentic.
That doesn't mean that being authentic means that you need to throw middle fingers in the air, drink Steve Weisers, and stun your boss.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody is that. But look at John Cena, who was squeaky clean, who was Superman incarnate, the world's giant Boy Scout, like never turned heel, blah, blah, blah. And this guy did great business. He made all kinds of money, and he cut great promos. Like, it can work. But I think he grabbed the bull by the horns and said, "Give me the wagon. I'll carry it on my back." And And because of that, we got great feuds out of him, wonderful feuds. Even if it was 50-50 booking or he won or he went over every single time or he buried somebody, whatever, it was cool. Sheamus, what's Sheamus doing? Cesaro, like that's another guy. Put me in a 9-week program with Cesaro and watch what fucking happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just they have the greatest talent in the world. What is Cesaro doing backstage? Like, they just tell him to put on like a chicken costume and he goes out and he does it. Like, oh my gosh, and I understand like if people are afraid to lose their jobs, but a lot of those guys are fucking overpaid. They get paid to sit at home and not do anything anyways. Like, I'd love to see them try something new, even if they fail at it. That's okay. I mean, there's no writing staff on AEW. Why are people's promos consistent? Why are people's characters consistent? Why are matches and who goes over consistent? And why do I care? I think it's because those guys are professionals. They know what to do. And yeah, they got a TV 14 rating to work with, of course. But even then, WWE doesn't need a cowboy gimmick who's going out drinking beers. Like, they don't need that. But there's plenty of talent there that put them on the mic, and without cursing, they can do incredible things, like Sami Zayn or something. Like, I want to see more of that. The reason why Drew Gulak is getting TV time and why he's becoming a household name, and he had a cool match. Wait, was it a match? Did he have a match at WrestleMania? No, he didn't have a match. It was a pre-show thing.
I think he was in a tag
Cesaro.
team with Daniel Bryan.
I think it was a pre-show with Cesaro, as a matter of fact. That's what it was. And
I didn't get
Drew
to see it,
Gulak wouldn't have been in that situation if Bryan didn't handpick him and say, I want to be in the ring with this guy, and put him over and make him look good and really take him under his wing. And we need more of that. We need more of that. Dude, put me in a 9-week, 12-week program with Titus O'Neil. That would be fucking sick. Like, that guy's a monster. I know he's the sweetest guy, I'm sure, behind the scenes, but that could be cool. But what does Vince McMahon do? He puts all the Mexicans together and he gives them Latino music, and like now they're a tag team because they're Hispanic. As a Hispanic, I resent that. What is he gonna do? Put Titus O'Neil and Bobby Lashley together as a tag team and call them Thug United or some shit? Like, I hate that stuff. And if I was a wrestler, like, I understand they own me, I'm their property, so to speak, but they're also independent contractors on paper. So if they don't like it, they can go fucking work somewhere else.
Yeah, they're on Raw. Like, I think they're all on Raw, but like they carry that show basically. I don't know. They have them on a lot. Like,
who's that?
They get at least like Rey Mysterio, Andrade.
Yeah.
Who else?
Angel Garza.
Angel Garza. Yeah, and then is Austin Aries Mexican?
Austin Theory.
Austin Theory I mean, I don't know what I'm thinking.
It's not Austin Aries. It's Austin Theory, and I don't know. I don't know who the fuck he is.
Yeah. All I know is he's on their like 3-person kind of like team with Andrade and Angel, and then it's Rey Mysterio and who else on his side? I don't know, but you're right. They're clustering them all together, and it's they need to branch out and wrestle other people. But I don't know. Maybe now with the quarantine and everything, they're trying to keep certain wrestlers together and not like have everyone come in contact with one another so they can identify. I don't know. But to me, you're right. I mean, this is even before the virus. It's always, the Latin people wrestle the Latin people. And it's a shame.
Well, it's even just their characters, like, their characters are just Mexican stereotypes. Like Vince, we can blame Vince on that, but why? I honestly believe these wrestlers need to be held accountable. Like, look at a guy like Jon Moxley, who did not like the creative, and when his contract was out, he was like, "I'm gonna go do my thing." Same thing with Brody Lee, right? He went to go do his own thing. I don't care if they work in New Japan or wherever. There's other places, but if they want to play, their music their way, they need to do that. WWE is not the only game in town anymore. It's not the only place to make money, Yeah,
no, that's true. That is definitely, and I think what's making AEW successful right now is that 2 things. One, they actually, the quality of their work is great, the storylines, but just the little things like having a few people in the audience or
Yeah,
like
that
behind the
helps.
gate, like some of the wrestlers, good wrestlers, and then the bad wrestlers on the other side. I think that that's making it way less awkward for some of the matches, and Chris Jericho being on commentary, and Tony, what is his name? Oh, I can't think of the other guy, but those two are really good announcers. And you know Jericho, he's always. What do you think about Jericho's commentary?
God damn, is there anything this guy is not good at?
I know.
He was on
I
Dancing with
love
the
it, man.
Stars. This guy could be on anything. You know, he can act, he can wrestle, he can cut one of the best promos ever. He's a rock star, for God's sakes. Great on commentary. Like, I've enjoyed his commentary. You know, like it's so good. I don't miss Jim Ross, even though I love Jim Ross. You know, but it's just been delightful. And I heard he did it all in one sitting as well. So can you imagine? That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing when you have someone who, and not only that, Jericho, he can relate. He's so up to date with relevance. Like Jim Ross is always going to be Jim Ross, classic. Who's that other guy? It's not Tony Khan, the other announcer, Tony Schiavone.
Oh, Tony
That's
Schiavone.
his name. Yeah, I think I didn't know this, but he was actually an announcer for WCW back in the day. I didn't know that. Did you?
I never watched WCW, but I do know that he was a commentator, along with Mike Tenay,
Yeah.
I want to say, the TNA guy. I don't know if you ever watched TNA, or Impact, as it's called now.
Yeah. So I mean, but like those little things, like WWE doesn't have that. And I think Stephanie McMahon even mocked AEW for having other wrestlers behind the barricade, like cheering them on. So there's some kind of chanting and some normalcy to it. But the other thing is that, you know, all the executives of the company are professional wrestlers. So they're going to obviously give the other wrestlers more freedom on the mic and more creative. I think they're leaving. What's making them more successful in WWE is right now is that they're letting the characters just be themselves. And like you said, you know, like it has to be if there's a Latino wrestler, he's got to come out with Latino music and show off that he's, you know, or whether it's making fun of like Eddie Guerrero or doing something that is so stereotypical. Whereas in AEW, I don't think they do that at all. They mix everyone together.
Do you remember Santino Marella? Did you ever see him?
Santino Marella, is he an older wrestler? No, I don't know. Is he on AEW?
No. So this was like early 2000s, mid 2000s. Like I remember I was like a senior in high school when he debuted. Anyways, the only reason why I bring him up is
No, I haven't heard of him.
On my YouTube, the recommended, I saw Santino Marella's debut, and I only mention him to say that. Do you remember Roman Reigns' brother Umaga, the wrestler?
Yeah,
he was
that barefoot Samoan dude.
He was great, but as I was watching that clip, he wrestled Umaga, and I was like, this character's super offensive. I mean, I was bought in. Like, you really believed that he was that guy, the Umaga character.
Oh, are you talking about the guy who was like his manager?
Him too.
Umaga.
The whole
like
act.
He had like the stupid safari hat on.
Yeah.
He was like almost like he was containing a jungle guy.
Yes.
Like,
I'm telling you,
that's pretty offensive.
Now
that you put it that way.
It is like something about my, eyes, like being a 32-year-old in 2020. But I was just like, this whole act is super offensive. The fact that somebody pitched this to the Umaga, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, his actual shoot name, but the fact that was all pitched, the presentation, and Vince ate that shit up and loved it, and the big WrestleMania between Bobby Lashley and Umaga, where it was Donald Trump was in somebody's corner, Bobby Lashley's corner, and someone had to shave their head or whatever. It's a good gimmick, but
yeah.
I mean, Umaga got big exposure from that, right? So he was really over at one point, and but just the character was so fucking racist, like it's really racist, you know. And Vince or whomever, the entire WWE organism has been booking quote unquote minorities like that forever, and it's really shitty. Like if you remember the way the New Day started, they were like these kind of preaching gimmick, you know, and then they turned it into their own thing. That was one of the biggest factions ever, and I appreciate that about them. Right? They turned chicken shit into chicken salad. That doesn't always happen. Like The Rock, he started off with the Nation of Domination, this big Black Panther kind of thing, and then he turned that into something, you know, even bigger. But the fact that they never use like a white guy, and rarely are there like hillbilly kind of characters where every white guy doesn't come out with country music, is what I'm saying. And it's a shame because there are amazing wrestlers that are Japanese, Mexican, Samoan, whatever, that come from all over the world, and they got to give them each like mariachi music as they're walking out the door. Like I resent that. I'm sorry. I'm talking shit.
No, that's good, man.
I do resent that.
No, that's good. And it's the same shit with, like Tajiri. He couldn't just be Tajiri. He had to spray the mist because it was a Japanese thing, you know?
Right. Yeah. I know. It's a bummer, man.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I mean, it's crazy. Yes, every white guy came out to country music. Yeah, I bet people would be pissed about it too. You know, what is I think that the light at the end of the tunnel with all this, or the shining light of that there's hope, is Keith Lee, because I think Keith Lee is one of those minorities who has not been tainted in any way. Like, he's himself fully. He has no gimmick.
Who is this?
No, Keith Lee.
Oh, Keith Lee. Yeah.
He's the North American champion. He's awesome, dude. I don't know if you've
he's had that title for like over a year now.
Him? No, I don't think it's been
I remember when he won it. He's had it for a while, no? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was he won it like right before the virus, I think.
Oh, okay. Good for him. Good for him.
Something.
I've seen Keith Lee live when he was on the Indies.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he had a chance to go for the NXT championship, but he's like, I'm going to choose what I want, you know, when I want. And he's like, right now, I want that North American title. So I think they're saving him for bigger feuds in the future, which is good. I'm glad he didn't just go straight for the NXT championship. Then they take him. Then Vince likes him because Triple H is molding these people better. And then
right,
I'm just very scared that Vince McMahon is going to take Keith Lee, and then he's just going to turn into like what is it, EC3? Like, do you remember that guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, he was like supposed to be on Raw, and we never heard from him. He was like one of the big stars that was going to be promoted, and now we don't know anything. So I hope that Keith Lee doesn't turn into one of those people. But
yeah,
we can only hope.
I can guarantee he will. If history, you know, repeats itself. There's a lot of NXT wrestlers who just couldn't, for whatever reason, get over on when they go to the quote unquote main roster. I think Keith Lee might be one of them. Unfortunately, even though he has everything, he has the entire package. You know, but even a guy like
what they're doing with what was it, Shayna Baszler? Do you remember? Now she's on Raw, or she had a big thing with Becky, and now she lost at WrestleMania. So like her mystique is kind of worn off. Well, now you know she's beatable, and I think they just I don't know why and now she's not really even being talked about, even though she's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match or something.
Well, I guess she'll probably win it.
It's like she was so much more important in NXT, you know.
Yeah, well, come to think of it, Becky Lynch came from NXT, and she's the biggest star ever. So I guess it can happen, but I think about what's his name, Finn Balor, who could never really pop on the main roster and then went back to NXT, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's okay. I think he's better there, but it's a shame. It's a damn shame, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost approaching an hour here.
Use him.
We're almost approaching an hour here, and I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
Of course. I want to let you go back to Nicole. Is that her name?
Yep.
All right. How's everything going?
Nicole, my baby.
How's everything going with her?
What?
How's everything going with her?
Good. She's still working from home, doing her thing, and we've been spending a lot of time together because, like I said, I've been home for the last month with with paid leave, so we've been spending more time together than ever, and it's been great. So, we have our ups and downs, depression with the whole virus thing and staying away from families, so that's a little rough at times, but all in all, we're doing good, man. We're healthy, and my family's healthy. Her family is staying safe and healthy, so I couldn't ask for more.
That's all that matters, man. Yeah, you're a very lucky dude.
Yeah.
I don't want you to forget
I
that.
am.
Thanks for reminding me that we needed to get one in before the month was over. April just disappeared.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I don't know. I've just been so sucked in with news, and it just kind of went down that rabbit hole of the virus and researching it. But we're here and we made it work, man. I'm so glad. Right by the skin of the teeth. So it's
well, we got to do one
with 45 minutes to spare of the month left.
Oh yeah, that's true. We got to do one like early May. Why do you got to wait till last minute, huh?
Right, I know. Yeah,
No, it's my fault.
It's one
It's
of
my
my
fault.
one of my things I need to work on.
No, that's all me.
And I'm honored to be a part of your podcast, man. I can't wait to see where this takes you. And just like we were mentioning in the beginning about TikTok, the reason why I want to stick to the one day, because like you've said, what does day 500 look like?
Fucking A, man.
What is day 365? I mean, I'm not even halfway there. I haven't even been on TikTok for half a year. So, I mean, what does that other half look like? And, I still got till January 9th of 2021 to see where TikTok takes me, and I want to make that a thing. And you really instilled that in me, and I don't want to lose that. So you give out a lot more positive vibes than you think, Knives. You influence many people too. So don't ever, whenever you're trying to get in your head and thinking those negative thoughts, just think about how many people support you, man. And you're doing the right thing with your podcast. I think you're doing great. So,
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
What?
I don't know about all that.
What?
But thank you, sir. That means a lot. I will say, from January 1st to May 1st, it's been 120 days. That's a lot,
man.
That's
and you're
lot,
going
brother.
for what, 500, right?
Oh yes, sir. And you're going for. You want to go for the full 365 on the TikTok?
Yeah.
Yes,
sir. And
on
then
the talk.
We'll see from there.
Yeah, we'll see from there, man. I love you so much, man. Get some rest, and I hope everything's good. And keep a force field around your heart, man. And I'll talk to you very, very soon.
Yeah. Thanks. You too, brother.
I love ya. Always have.
Yeah.
Later, man.
All right, later, man.